80 employees, which is awesome. We started so small and throughout the years just grown. And now we have over 1,400 plus like solar systems installed. So we do everything from, like I said, residential, and we can do roof mount, ground mount, and what's the other one? Thank you, carports. And then we do battery storage installation. And we've been around a lot. This is our install map. Everything is kind of labeled different ways, but this is just to kind of show that we've been all over the state and surrounding areas, and we're continuing to grow. We even have a service team that goes out in West and Texas, Utah. And just a big win I wanted to share this past year was when we flipped the switch with Mayor Friday at Metro Water's largest solar installation state. That was 2.6 megawatts of renewable energy for them. I just wanted to kind of share that big win. And then if y'all want to find us, we're on lightwavesolar.com, and you can also find us all on social media. But that's pretty much it.
Do a shout out. I have 2 of the installations, but you know, I've been around a while, and I remember when Steve would be the only exhibitor at the sustainability fairs and birthday that did solar, and so he's been around and he's been persistent, and I'm so glad to see you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you all for being the Who's gonna do the program? I'll just get this set up while you do it.
So hey everybody, good morning. I'm Michelle. I'm the program coordinator for Tennessee Women in Green. And I think you all probably know our speaker today, but I'm going to give you a brief bio. Masellis is the communications manager at Tennessee Environmental Council, driven by a lifelong passion for protecting the environment. Maris embarked on a personal sustainability journey that led her to Nashville, where she saw a community of like-minded individuals. You found it.
Yeah.
Joining her sustainability family in TWIG, Maris was inspired to pursue her environmental passions. She launched her sustainability podcast, Critical Roots, which later elevated her to a women ambassador. You have to explain them. She is also an eco DJ because music is a unique way to connect people to themselves and others, and ultimately the material world around them. This passion for creative expression led her to become an engaging MC for environmental summits and events where she shares her contagious energy and passion with others. Currently, Maris is actively involved in a crucial statewide initiative working with Tennessee Environmental Council and partners to pass, it's still early. And speaking, quite a challenge. To pass legislation in the 2025 session that will expand recycling access across the entire state.
Yes. I love that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hayden's Mod Singer, everyone. It's gonna be tapping. Well, actually, wait, you might have to sit over here. It's on Zoom.
Oh,
So we have to see
you.
Hi, Zoom. You're still
Hi.
seeing here, but if you sit.
No, I got you right
Okay.
here. Yeah.
I'm not. So I wanted to fix that up. But hi, I'm Maris, and I do work for Tennessee Environmental Council. I have a very long history that I can't wait to share with you over the last 10 years that have brought me right where I am today. Also, Happy New Year! I'm so excited for this year, and I want to share this energy with you, and I couldn't be more honored to do it with first. So who am I? That's me. This was this last year, and I was up at the Capitol with a friend, David Aguilera. If you're on there, hey David. And hi to everyone on Zoom that couldn't make it in person today. I love you guys in spirit. I know you're here. But this picture is going to kind of like wrap up this whole entire presentation and where I am today. So leave that as a mystery. But this tagline on the bottom, it says, in order to love the planet, we must first love each other. And if we seek to love one another, we must first love ourselves. Quote, and quote. That is my quote. And it's really been this thesis that I've been developing over the last 10 plus years here in Nashville. So let's go ahead and get to the next slide. That's me. I just decided that was a cool picture to put on there. Because, you know, my modeling career was kind of short, but who knows, maybe there's still time for me yet. You know, but my friend Billy Joe took that photo. Billy, if you're on there, he's in Australia. I told him about this and they're definitely time warped. So if you're on there, respect. But if not, that's Billy's photo. And I wanted to share all the things that have created who I am today, because it's really important to like think about where we go in our lives and our journey, and how, you know, the challenges are actually a really big part of how we succeed and how we learn in life. So I'm going to go briefly over the early years: life training, school, career, fitness, music, getting to Nashville, building community, podcasts, ambassadorships. We will talk about Lululemon, what that means, Tennessee Environmental Council, DJing, and ultimately why advocacy is so important to my life. That's what I'm sure for you. This, how adorable boy! I was a really cute kid, y'all, and I always loved candy. Obviously, candy apple. I mean, who gives a big candy apple anyway? Thanks, Mom. At a young age, I loved being outside. I love nature. I think all kids really do if they get the chance, right? They have the opportunity. That's my dad. Dad was in Florida. I was born in Connecticut. My mom's from New Jersey. Parents separated at 3, and my dad moved to Florida. So I have this really interesting combination of southern life in northern Florida and then city life, beach life with my mom in New Jersey. And I would travel to see my dad every summer for a couple months and holidays and stuff. But it was really special to me. My dad inspired me to just go after, you know, everything I wanted and never give up. So Masellis don't quit. That was always his thing. Masellis don't quit. So I tried really hard not to quit things, but you know, now in life you kind of understand that maybe some things aren't for us after we try them. But I always wanted to make my dad proud. And so that was my inspiration, to get straight A's and get through school and go to college. And then my mom, this beautiful woman that is here on the right, she was my connections major. She was an environmental science teacher. She would go and study in Hawaii and Cayman Islands when the summers when I would go see my dad. She was just constantly learning. So she gave me this lust for education and knowledge, and she showed me what it meant to save things like solid waste and making sure that we were reusing and reducing was a common practice in our house. And I was also kind of embarrassed because it was like random stuff everywhere in my house. Like high school was kind of like, what are you thinking in my house? There's such projects everywhere, and like, you know, but she always found a way to use all of our stuff. And that was really important. She was the core reason of my love for the environment, for conserving energy and finding ways to just reduce, reuse. Next, please. All right, life training. This is my high school senior picture. I've changed a little bit. I look a little different. I feel like a lot of people say that I'm like the ever-changing hairstyle, so you're gonna see a lot of hairstyles. The top right is my senior play. So I love to act, I love to sing. I love being on stage. That was my senior play where I was like the cake topper at the very top of the last scene, and I couldn't put my arms down. So it literally was like heavy, like, okay, we have to do this for 10 more minutes, it's all right. But I would like to play sports. I was the president of my class. I was the homecoming queen. Yeah, you know, just to name a few. But eventually when I graduated, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. But I was like the person who gave the news every day my senior year on the TV, like announcements and whatnot. So like journalism could be kind of cool. I could do that. So there I am at Santa Fe Community College in the middle. And that was kind of my first experience being like in this reporter type deal. And it kind of stuck because after I graduated from the University of Florida with journalism and communications bachelor's degree, I worked for WPT News in West Palm Beach. And look at that hairstyle. That's cool, right? That's Michael and Kelly, and just dear people to me. I kind of realized at that point though that the news wasn't really for me, and that it was a good experience, and it kind of put me in the next place. Ready? The road to Nashville. So one summer in 2013, after I went to a music festival, I just decided to pack up all my stuff and leave. Go west. I don't know. I wanted to kind of find more of my people, musicians, environmentalists, like people that just kind of inspired me. The beach was beautiful and WPTV was really cool, but sometimes you just gotta pack up all your stuff and go. I feel like Dixie Chicks. You ever hear that song, Long Time Around? It's like, yeah, so that's what I did. I also let everyone draw on the ceiling of my car. So that was like my moving yearbook and like scrapbook for, I was really sad that that card. But when I got here, I just started singing. That was how I met most of my friends. I just got open mics and put myself out there, super nervous, like strumming. It was like, oh, and you can hear it in my voice how nervous I was. And it's just amazing to see where I am today and how getting up in front of people is just more natural for me because I just kept doing it. I just kept saying like, I don't care. I'm just gonna keep doing it. And that's kind of my theme for this whole entire presentation. That's Jelly Roll. If you didn't know, Jelly Roll, that was like 20 years ago. So I was, I just had to include that. I had a picture of me and Miranda Lambert at Whiskey Kitchen where I was working too. But I was like, oh, that was just a blip. But Jelly Roll and I, there's a video that we're not gonna play right now, but I put it there just in case we have time. I was in this music video 8 years ago, and I'll tell you which one it is later if you're really interested. And then Whiskey Kitchen was one of my first jobs here in Nashville that I really was making some cash money. But then I also really saw how much waste we were creating in the restaurant industries. After 4 years of serving tables, I went to corporate and I presented to them ways to minimize their waste in all 6 restaurants that they owned and how we can compost and do these things. They weren't really about it, so I had to move on. And that's when I decided that this other hobby I had, teaching Muay Thai kickboxing, maybe I should do that full time.
Great cue.
And there is, okay, so back in time, this middle picture, which shout out to Olivia, I saw you, where are you? My hot box babies and Jen in the back. I've been teaching at this gym for 10 years, y'all. I eventually went on to be the assistant manager at this gym and instill sustainability practices at Hotbox. That was part of my MO. I mean, at this point, it was like, okay, how do I instill these practices in everything that I do? You know, how can I educate, help people understand that this is really important and that we can put this in every single space? Looking at my notes, it's great. But so, yeah, this was a part of my life when I really started to realize that I had a power and I had an effect on people and that people trusted me. And this community was really important because it showed me that I was capable of impacting people. And music wasn't as prevalent in my life, and I had to I put a lot of pressure on myself to be that identity, especially being in Nashville. And it kind of felt like it was slipping away. And then when Hotbox came into my life, I was like, oh, cool. This is something new and different and empowering, right? So this was the beginning for me in a different light to just kind of be a leader. Next slide, please. And then during all of this, I became a TWIG member. That was at the Dragon Boat races. Who remembers the Dragon Boat races? Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. Meeting these women and coming to this organization. I mean, at the Bridge Room, I was just talking to Kelly about this. There were meetings before the pandemic. You were only in person, and it was like church for me. I was like, I'm going. There's no way I'm missing these meetings. And the Bridge Room was so incredibly gorgeous. This is a pretty gorgeous space too. But overlooking the river, there was just something about it, you know. So TWIG happened. They encouraged me a ton to just put myself out there. I met Michael and Jess in the middle. That was my first podcast, Zero Waste Trash Talk. Who remembers the beginning of Zero Waste Trash Talk? It was a content idea. We were just online posing questions as citizens, like, hey, why is recycling so hard? Hey, why is this not recyclable? And we made all these fun videos kind of spark people into thinking and asking these questions that later evolved into a podcast. Zero Waste Trash Talk. Everyone thought we were a podcast. And when the pandemic hit, we're like, well, why don't we do this remote and figure out ways to highlight people and share it with the world? So that's what we did. And sooner or later, after I was teaching again, Lululemon is a Canadian athletic women's apparel brand. And they're like the standard when it comes to leggings. This store opened up in the Gulch, and they started coming to Hotbox and talking to me about my podcast and sustainability, and eventually asked me if I would represent their brand. So being a Lululemon ambassador was one of those moments where I was just like, I'm doing something right. To be validated and to just feel like you're being seen, there's just something about it. So seen that my face was on the wall. Look at that. In the Gulch, you couldn't pass the store without seeing my face. Like, it was front and center, and it was the coolest thing ever. And then also on the bottom left, you see me with my friends May and Mage. Shout out to Mage, one of my dear friends in sustainability. Deep Tropics is a sustainable EDM festival here in Nashville. It's electronic dance music. Moving from West Palm Beach to here, I was definitely in the EDM world, and I loved dancing to this stuff. But sustainability and electronic music, That was incredible to me. And when I met Joel Atchison, shout out to Joel, he asked if I would help him promote and just be behind the sustainability initiatives of this festival. And I said, heck yes, include me, please. Next slide. In the zone. They asked me to be an ambassador for a third year. I got my re-pictured up there. I got 2 photo shoots. It was some of the coolest stuff that's ever happened to me just by putting myself out there and just by saying yes. I just wanted to share that picture because it's cool. Cheers. And then in the middle, that was where I wanted to go. Zero Waste Trash Talk unfortunately came to a halt. Friends moved away. And I was like, this has just been so empowering for me. I don't want to stop. But how am I going to keep going? I don't have the money. I don't have the, I don't know how to produce this thing. And just Lululemon was like, let us help you. And so a few mentors and people in my life helped fund this process. And eventually Critical Root Zone was born. And that's where this little icon came. Shout out to a beautiful friend that made that for me. Ready for the next one. And we started off in June 2022. This is Kristen Westerbeck. She was also a TWIG member and a board member. And she was one of the biggest inspirations of this whole journey because she just kept saying, do it, why not? Do it, why not? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And so she was my very first guest. She lives in Oregon now and works for Nike in their sustainability department and does some incredible work for them, minimizing emissions and just figuring out ways. That's what it is all about, connection, figuring out ways to connect the right people to the right things. So she was my first episode series ever. I've got Grace Strauch from Harpeth Conservancy, Bob Freeman, Representative Bob Freeman, Frederick Cawthon, and Derek and Sarah from Lafana, Howard Gentry and Reggie Ford, Professor Doug Galbraith, and of course, Haynes Motsinger, if you haven't seen the wonderful episode with my dear grandparents. Go check it out. During all of this, there was something that I needed to fill my heart, and that was just the work, the volunteering, the people, the community of the environment. Like, how do I get dirty out there, Tennessee Environmental Council was that for me. When I met Jeff Berry, my boss and CEO of Tennessee Environmental Council, there was, there was just such a strong friendship and bond between us. We actually met each other before. Policy and Practice was an event that I went to very first time I met anyone in TEC. And when I walked through the door, he looked at me and he's like, I know you from somewhere. And we had actually been passing each other at Cornelia Air Park, and I had my little dog running behind me every morning. There's not a lot of people out at 6 a.m. at Cornelia, so he was like, I totally know who you are, and it was just a really fun connection. But I waited for opportunities. I know I wanted to be with these people more. I was managing the gym. I was being elevated by Lululemon to continue on my sustainability efforts. I was doing my podcast, and I was trying to juggle all these things and figure out, like, how do I make that my passion, my work? And so finally it happened. Introducing Communications Manager, Maris Masellis. October of 2023, I was asked to step into this position that I'm in today, and I couldn't be more honored, couldn't be more proud. I really feel like everything that I've done in my life has really just kind of culminated up into this moment. We just keep going, we keep learning, we keep chugging along. And I love this nonprofit so much. If you don't know Tennessee Environmental Council, we have so many wonderful events. I mean, Tennessee Tree Day is coming up in March. We do recycling roundups year-long across the state. There's tons of volunteer opportunities to plant gardens, pollinator gardens, and trees, and restore the watersheds in our state. There's just so much good that we're doing, and it's a lovely thing to be a part of. Intro, DJ Earthbird. So why not add another thing into the mix, right? Music was always a part of my soul, and I just kept feeling like there's a way that I'm gonna bring it all together. How am I gonna bring all of these things that I love so much that I can put it into sustainability? Y'all, sustainability is everything that we do. It is literally this circle that we cannot stop. And so really digging into my passion and just encouraging everyone to do that, right? Like to just take your unique skills and authentic skills and use those for sustainability in whatever way that feels right to you. So I remember Deep Culture and the DJs and this EDM festival, that was Sustainable Festival. I realized that there was this power that these artists had. Like, if these artists were in front of all of these people, and I think this is to say with anyone with a microphone on a stage, has the power to instill something, to give their impression to the world, the kind of responsibility. And so I thought, well, I could do that. Why not? Why not? And so I was very empowered by my friend Will on the right side here. He's actually the creator and head of this ecstatic dance Nashville. I did not say exotic. Ecstatic Dance Nashville, which is this beautiful event. It's a free-form movement of just dance. There's no phones, there's no talking. It's all about you and moving with your body. It's a sober event, and it's every Sunday, first and third Sunday of the month here in Nashville. And when I started going, I didn't realize that I was going to be a DJ for it, because I thought, oh, I'll be a club DJ, you know, or I'll be a festival DJ. And this is actually where my community really, this community opened me up, encouraged me, supported me. And then up at the top here, that's at Elevation Central, my second home. And these beautiful women behind me are all my sisters that have just given me opportunity after opportunity to dig into this passion of mine and remind me that I can do it. So thank you to them. If you're online, I love you so much. Thanks for being here. And then why not keep going, right? Talking on stage, I seem to really enjoy it. I started to realize that this natural ability of mine to like bring the energy and love and passion I have for the environment to any place was like, how can I elevate others? And so on the bottom left here, this was recently at the Tennessee Local Food Summit. I hosted and facilitated for them, which was such an honor and such a cool thing. This is the beginning of Speaker Maris. Up at the left, that was actually right here. I was sitting right here, and I was moderating the very first panel of the Future of Food series that the National Food Project put on last summer. In the middle, I was talking and singing at Deep Tropics, the Deep Culture leg, which is a sustainability nonprofit leg of the festival. They had a fundraiser at the Parthenon, and I was asked to give a little piece there, and I thought maybe I'll just do a little acapella song that I wrote, why not? And all the way to the right was the very first Deep Culture Sustainability Summit that they had before the festival this last summer. And so we had a bunch of speakers and panels and meditation. And it was really the first time I saw all of that come together. And I was like, oh yeah, this stuff is all supposed to be together, right? We're supposed to ground and connect and just be vulnerable and let it all hang out. And then talk about some environment stuff, you know. You're getting good.
Thanks.
Today, I am in a different place than I've ever been. And advocacy, politics, that word, I would have never thought that I would have been in a legislature today, that I would have been interested in even being involved in politics. You know, my voice and my passions have just kept growing and ringing in these last 10 years, and I've just been trying to figure out how to make lasting change. Yeah, local change, very important. Micro actions, what you do at home, what you do with your friends, how you act in your communities. This is really, really important. Yet, our leaders need our guidance. They need to know what we want. Policy is an integral part of making lasting change. And I know that it's not most people's cup of tea. I know that, it wasn't mine, that's for sure. But it's happening with or without us, right? And so I'm choosing to use my strength and my hope to light the way into the darkest spaces, you know. And today I'm working with Senator Campbell and Gary Cohen up here on the top right corner. There's Gary Cohen in the blue jacket. Jeff is on the very far right, can't see his face. And we're hanging out with Senator Reeves on the bottom, Senator Sutherland, and there's John. Hey, John. There you are. And actually, this is a picture of Heidi and I on my very first conservation day. Conservation Day on the Hill is when we go up to the legislature and we talk to our leaders and representatives about bills that we are for or against regarding the environment and how it's going to affect our planet and our lives. Without the planet, we ain't got nothing, right? Can I get an amen?
Amen.
So, right now, I'm with this incredible group of people trying to pass a bill this upcoming session to improve and expand recycling for all Tennesseans. It's called the Tennessee Waste to Jobs Act, or the Tennessee Waste Reduction and Recycling Act. Yes, a mouthful, but we can't forget the reduction piece, right? Because recycling is an extreme part of the solution, like it's a big part, yet we also need to be reminding ourselves that we have to try to figure out ways to reduce first, reuse first, and then we recycle. But so what Tennessee Waste to Jobs Act does is transfers the cost of recycling from taxpayers and municipalities to the companies producing the waste. Okay, did you know that over 900 tons of packaging waste goes into our landfill every year? And I know, how many of you know that there's a landfill crisis? What does that even mean? It means that we're throwing stuff into a hole and it's filling up. I don't know who thought of that, but it's not working. And you know, how many of you know that, I mean, if this runs out, we're gonna be just doing the same, we're gonna be paying more money in taxes to bring it to another state, to throw it into another hole. So I know this room is maybe a little farther along than most people that have not a lot of information about this. But the extended producer responsibility policy that will be enacted is basically an approach that assigns the producers of the products to the end of life of their products. It's their responsibility to figure out, to invest in the system that we as consumers have been asked to figure out for so long. How many of you felt like that was kind of like a dead end? Like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to fix this? And then doom and gloom sets in and we're like, well, I can't do anything. I guess I'm just gonna figure out what's recyclable and what's not recyclable. And that's pretty confusing, right? Let's actually, can you click on that link, James?
Yeah.
It might jump us out and that's okay. If you go down a little bit for me, I just want to give a little bit more on what the Tennessee Waste to Jobs is. And actually, I'll come over here to that one. Thank you so much. What's really cool about this bill is that we already have so much support. Producers are already saying, yes, we are here to support this bill. We want the plastics, we want the aluminum, we want the glass back. And then there are other companies. We have been meeting with stakeholders all over the state that need the glass. I mean, these are partners that already exist and are paying for foreign companies to give us these materials when we have them right here in Tennessee. We are in the perfect position to be a leader in the Southeast region. Tennessee is already growing exponentially, right? We have the resources, and this is going to bring so many jobs. It's going to bring over, we've calculated over at least 7,700 jobs to our infrastructure. This is going to bring over $300 million back into the state. I mean, we are an economically focused state. We are a business-driven state, and I mean, this just makes so much sense. So this isn't the first time that our legislature is hearing about this. Senator Campbell and I, this is the very first time I met her years ago, and this came up into our Conservation Day pamphlet, and I said, what is this? Why aren't we, what is this? Is this one gonna pass? This one's gonna totally pass, right? And everyone was like, not so sure about that one right now, maybe in a few years. And I was just like, this is crazy. Because I know every person in my peer group, if I told them about this, would be so excited about this. So it's just about getting the word out. It's about getting our communities to know that there are options that our leaders are working on to make this better. And this is just one piece of the puzzle, one piece. So we can get this passed this session, which I have a lot of faith that we will. It's gonna be history in the making. We will be the very first Republican state to pass EPR in the United States of America, which this is, by the way, happening internationally. Okay, these companies, they're already doing it in China, in Europe, in India, it's Canada, it's already happening. And so the sooner we pass it, the sooner we can get started in saving these precious materials that I know these companies want back. So as you can see, we've got a ton of supporters already, and we're just getting more. They're just flowing in. That's a real nice picture right there. Yeah, yikes, yikes. We are 48 in the country for recycling, and it's not really something we want to brag about. And out of the people that have access to recycling, only, well, 47%, I believe it is all that can. And yes, lack of funding. EPR is the sustainability funding mechanism. We don't have to pay for it. It's getting paid for by the companies creating these products. How cool is that?
Way cool.
All right, let's get back to my PowerPoint. So these amazing people here on the right. Hi, everybody. You see my face? Hi. Gary, give it up for Gary, everybody. We got to give it up for Gary. Gary is not a paid employee like many of us. We are just doing this as volunteers because we care. And I know that everybody in this room is here because they care. So I'm really hoping that my presentation today leads you to come and do more with us. I got some things for you. A lot up there. We might need to come back. Conservation Day, Harpeth Conservancy, TEC, Sierra Club, Interfaith Power and Light. We are going to host a day on the hill, and we need every district to show up. You may be calling or emailing, and that's fine too, but we're activating people across the state to stand up for our environment, for the things that we know that can help. And that's Tennessee Waste to Jobs. There's more info here. We have our website. Don't be confused by the name of it. We did start with Reimagine Packaging Tennessee, which is a beautiful vision, but it's all the same thing, so not to confuse you. Tennessee Waste to Jobs, Waste Reduction Recycling Act, and Reimagine Packaging Tennessee are all the same thing, and it's all the same people. So there's more info there. And the legislative webinar up here, this is to give you just a little 101 brief on what is the Tennessee legislature? How does it work? Who are the people that are important that we need to focus on if we want to pass environmental bills like the TWRA? And then the TC newsletter is me. I put out a weekly newsletter every week that has all of these opportunities on it, plus all of Tennessee Environmental Council's ways to get involved, like planting pollinator gardens, tree day, recycling roundups, it's all there. So fast forward one more. It would be wrong if I did not highlight my dear friends that have helped me heal and grow and love myself so that I could be a part of this whole piece that I am today. Come dance with us. We have a dance this Sunday. Jen will be there. I'll be there. It's actually at a new venue. So if you go to their website, all the info is there, but it's just an incredible experience to love yourself. Self-care is really important. In the middle, Elevation Central, this is the second home I was telling you about. There's opportunities for meditations and workshops and workouts, and Jen leads a Tuesday, Thursday, beautiful thing that I'm yet to come to, but I'm coming. It is in Mount Juliet, so it's a little stretch for me, but it's a really cool deal. They have like fires and stuff. You're like working out around a fire, I think. Is that right? Yeah, I've seen pictures. They got like a sauna and a hot tub, just to name a few things that might be interesting for you. And then Hot Box Fitness. You guys want to come punch some stuff, pick some stuff. It's a great way to get out some energy, work out, sweat. Self-care is the first part, y'all. In order to love the planet, we must first love each other. And in order to love each other, it starts here. One more. Look at all these girls. These are just some of the people I've been through TWIG. It's so amazing. There's Kelly and Katie and Natalie and Jacqueline and Senator Campbell and Haynes and Deanna. Just a few, just to name a few. And last slide I have includes Sampson. It wasn't that picture before, and then this morning I was like, I don't have any photos of my dog. That's not gonna happen. Guys, I'm just so honored to be here and start the year off as a TWIG presenter. I've been coming to TWIG, I think, since 2016 or 2017. So to be up here and sharing my story and advocating for the environment and in such an authentic way, just being me is one of the coolest opportunities. So I need to say thank you so much, TWIG, for having me. And I just hope to see you all. I hope to meet you all, maybe on Conservation Day or at one of our events coming up, maybe at Elevation Central or an ecstatic dance or at Hot Pots, but that's it. That's it.
Thank you, parents. You said sustainability is everything we do. It is a never-ending circle. I thought that was really beautiful, but we want to present you with the Tennessee River Freshwater Pearl. Oh, are there any questions? There might be some in the chat. Yeah, I think there's some in the chat.
They are mostly people just saying you're awesome. Oh, you can tell already? Oh, go ahead, John.
I have a question. Mayor, so of all the programs all the programs that, the environmental council is running, that you're participating in, which one of them has the greatest impact on the community? And which one of them has the greatest impact on the environment?
John.
Can you repeat?
Is that, yeah, out of all the programs at TEC, which one has the greatest impact on the community? And which one has the greatest impact on the environment? That's a trick question.
Well.
Professor John McFadden, everyone. Yeah, I'd say that every single program is going to have an amazing impact on both, John, the community and the environment.
Which one has the greatest?
Oh my gosh, you're trying to play favorites.
In your,
In my opinion,
yeah,
I think some of our, I'll have to give a lot of credit to Abby Schneider, who just actually moved on from Tennessee Environmental Council. She's a wonderful human who I met through Zero Waste Trash Talk back in those days. And she has her own little content company, Simplify Nashville. And when she started at Tennessee Environmental Council before me, she actually got a grant to start our recycling roundups. This has been a growing and ever growing event that has just diverted tons, over 500,000 tons last year, or up to last year from the landfill. Jeff, if you're on there, you can put the correction in the chat, because I know he's on there, somebody's on there. Pretty sure I'm right, I am a communication director, I see a lot of those statistics, but I think that being able to see that it is possible to recycle these things, and that there are companies, there are businesses out there that want these things, it makes you think about what you're doing in your everyday life, right? Like, it's not just throwing it away anymore. There is no way. There is no way. That was the very first name of the very first podcast that we ever did for Zero Waste Trash Talk. And it was, there is no way, because this saying, just throw it away, doesn't actually exist. And so when you start to see at these recycling roundups that there's places that the scrap metal can go, these tires, and these mattresses, and this styrofoam that you didn't know you could recycle, I think it changes the way that you act in the world, that everything is precious and valuable. And then for the community, I think that getting dirty, right? Getting out there, meeting people in these events, like just making friends that you can hang out with and do something different. Do something different. It's not all about the Nashville scene, going out to the bars or going out to a country music show. It's not all Nashville is. And this community is actually, I feel like, growing. I'm gonna hit Elaine first, just because I saw her hand first.
Fantastic presentation. Is there a Republican co-sponsor for the bill?
We are looking for one. So if you know one. We have had some conversations with people. You see that there was a photo of, I'm gonna put it back up there. There was a photo of this guy right here. Oh, no, hey. Mr. Senator Reeves here. He is Shane. He told me to call him Shane. I'm gonna call him Shane. Because they're buds now. He is senator in Middle Point area, so he has the landfill in his backyard. He knows it's an issue. And he shared with us that he wants to be part of the solution. So it's really encouraging to have these conversations with different representatives. Great question, Elaine. This is why it is so important that we have constituents from all of the districts, especially our Republican family. They're not the enemy. We need them. And they're about conservation. That's the thing. It's just figuring out ways to make it work for everybody. But this is a bipartisan issue. Everyone is affected by this. And so Republican or Democrat or not, we need to work on this together. Is DJ?
Yes. So I believe the title of the documentary that came out was Buy Now on Netflix.
Bye now.
But how do we know like that the companies are like Apple is like, oh, bring us a recycling, we'll like go recycle them, and then they're tracking that they're actually just throwing them away in China.
Mm.
So for the EPR, like and we have Unilever and like Mars, like what is the follow-up on if they're actually
doing what they say they're gonna do, and it's not just like greenwashing.
Great question. So extended producer responsibility enacts a producer responsibility organization. And that's actually all of these producers coming together and regulating themselves. So they actually create the whole infrastructure. They work with the current local municipalities on what we already have, and they work to improve it. So they do an entire needs assessment. We have it written in our bill that TDEC would be an advisory board in which oversee. Gonna have a whole stakeholder advisory board as well. So there's a lot of different parts that will be holding accountability to these companies. And yeah, the pro is actually what's formed after we pass this legislation. And there's only one right now. Circular Alliance is the only pro in the US right now. And what we're doing is we're getting supporters from that pro that are already part of this whole thing, and they're saying, yes, we support this, like Margie Weaver, they're already doing it, and they support this bill. And there's 5 states that have already passed it here in America. It's California, Oregon, Colorado, Maine, and Minnesota. So we're doing it. It's happening with or without us, and as Senator Campbell would say, we're either at the table or we're on the menu. I'm gonna-
I just have a follow-up on that. So are they trying to keep the materials here in the state of Tennessee that's being produced here in Tennessee, or is it going to other?
Another great
states
question.
or country?
We are trying to keep it Tennessee centric, right? Or at least US centric. So as much as we can do close to home, right? Because we're trying to minimize all of the different parts of this, the carbon emissions, how far we have to travel. But if they're neighbors of ours, how great would that be? If it's in Kentucky or if it's in Alabama, I mean, these are all regions around us that we can work together. So yes, we are trying to stay as close to home as possible. And so Tennessee's in the middle of the southeast region, so we're perfect. We're perfectly placed to have access to all of these things. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I love it. And
Okay, so I love that you're more involved in policy. I talk to a lot of clients and people about, shifting people that are on the other side over to our perspective. And I'm just curious, like, what has been most effective in bringing people over to our side? Are there self statistics, meals, and their basic values? Like,
Great
how's
question.
that going for you, and what's been working?
I'll repeat it for Zoom. So bringing people from the other side, how am I doing that? Such a good question. And an important one. I'm leading with love. I'm leading with my heart. Which is, there's not really anything else, right? It's not, there's no line to be crossed. Yeah, the statistics are there. Yes, this needs to happen. Yes, I could shake people, I could yell at them, I could be like, hey, why, what's your problem? This is right, you're wrong. It just doesn't work that way. I think all I can really do is share my story and share what I know to be true and have conversations with people. I mean, I'm gonna show up at the legislature this year, wearing my garb, being myself. Shout out to Christy Lynn, who told me, don't you take that nose ring out. Because I thought about it. And it might affect the way people look at me right off the bat, but that doesn't matter. Because I am who I am. And in order for people to see me as who I am, I need to be authentically myself. And share that I don't know all the answers, but I have a team of people who do, who can help me figure it out. And that's what we need to do together. We just need to help figure it out together. We need to add our special spice. And just know that it's okay to not know. It's okay. It's all you have to do is start a conversation. And I've heard way too many people over time say, wow, this is the first time that I've had a conversation with someone where I didn't feel like I was having a debate or an argument. Because most of my friends would put up an immediate wall when I started talking about politics. And it's like, listen, we gotta talk about this stuff, guys. Like, this is happening with or without us. Our leaders are going on and they're making these decisions with or without us. You don't have to be as involved as I am, but when I say, hey, I need your help, can you please show up? Or can you please call, or can you please email? We gotta do what we can. So maybe you're not exactly who I am up here, but you can do whatever makes sense to you. Thanks, Anna. One more question.
To extend this working
Pretty well.
To what, sorry, I have a flip
Oh, it's okay.
last week. To what extent is TDEC like, weighing in on this bill and like working out, because they have quite an infrastructure. For,
What is TDEC? How much involvement is TDEC
yeah,
having?
yeah, they have quite the infrastructure. Their lawyers are down to the middle of the day.
What was your name?
I'm Karen.
Karen, so nice to meet you. I honestly, to be honest, I don't know all the details of TDEC. All I know is that they are involved, which is really important.
Yeah.
So, they do have a piece of this and they're a very important piece. So if you'd like, get in touch with me and we can talk more about it. Yeah. Could we maybe do one more? Do one more? Is there anyone else? Go ahead, Kelly.
Let's have like a softball. So the 10 years that you've been with Tennessee Women in Green, has there been one presentation or one experience that really stands out?
Oh my gosh. You know what's really crazy? She's here today. Elaine gave a presentation on water. And she's sitting right in front of me, and the fact that she's here today is just so cool, and I just appreciate, it's really hard to say one presentation, because I've seen so many, and I think it's really just the women that I've met, it's the relationships that I've developed, and the people that I've met. We were just talking about Laura Maribe. Laura, the president of TWIG, when I first started, she really had an amazing effect on me, and just inspired me, another woman that I miss dearly, and just, yeah, it's everybody, but Elaine, I'll never forget your presentation on water. It's water, y'all. It's another thing, it's another thing, but there's so many ways, that whatever speaks to you, like, there's so many avenues of where you can go, and sometimes it's overwhelming, because I mean, obviously, it shows everything, it's like, why not? But we need people in each arena, so, thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you again, Meredith.
Give me one
I'm thrilled to serve as vice president of TWIG this year, and I'll share a few announcements if that's cool. You're all here today for the same reason, right? We have Tennessee Women. We serve to empower, inspire, and connect, and just provide a nice space for women who are committed to environmental sustainability. Men are also welcome. That's okay. And then the next year, sorry, I should have.
No, you might want to move a little bit closer to this and people can hear you. Yeah.
All right, we want to thank our sponsors. We have several sponsors: Branch, Root, Platinum, and Sustaining. The National Food Project is one of those sponsors. But if you're interested in being a sponsor, email us. Let us know. We're happy to bring on more sponsors. Thank you to our new and renewing members, Nicole, Haynes, Colleen, Eden, Crystal. If you are a new or renewing member, could you raise your hand? Speaking of which,
Oh.
sorry. If you are not a member of TWIG and you're TWIG curious, let us know. You can join. There are different levels that you can join. You can be a Share the Love member at 150, or if you're a student or you're like, you know what, I just don't really have the funds for that right now. You can be a TWIG member for as little as $10 a year. It's pretty great. Seed fund on here, I won't go through all of this, but on your tables, there are seed fund papers. Please read those if you are interested in a professional professional development opportunity that is that deals with sustainability. Please check out our seed fund. We provide scholarships every year. We do have a rolling application, so there's more information about that on the website.
I forgot to mention I was a seed fund recipient.
Can you share about what you did? Were you to a conference or?
Well, crazy enough, it was right before 2020, and I was supposed to be going to the Al Gore conference, to the Climate Reality Conference, and it was canceled. It was canceled, my flights were canceled, everything was canceled, so Jen and I ran away to West Palm Beach instead. But we did find a way to reuse that money, and you guys
kind of forward it towards my zero waste trash talk endeavors. So, yes.
Yeah, so let's apply, you never know what might happen. If you are, I want to put a little plug for our Kroger Community Rewards. If you shop at Kroger, that's cool. Please think about designating your shopper's card to TWIG. That would be really great. We do have to renew that every year, so think about that as well. Upcoming next month, our program is Tiffany Wilmot. Remember, she is one of our founders. So we're very excited to have her February 7th, next month here at the National Department. Follow us on Instagram. We did get a new account last year when it was hacked. We are still building up our following there. So that's the best way that you can get information that's pretty up to date. Oh, and yeah, and we'll go back to that so you can take a little QR code with that. But thank you again these are all the ways that you can connect with us. And we look forward to seeing you next month. Bring your friend next month as well.
For your friend.